trying to get my head around the seat frames. So that frame came out of the driver's seat on a pair of rails, and the rails were rusted away to out. And then there were these 3 galvanised brackets. So I'm assuming that they're basically the passenger side, because I can't work out how this frame, which is one I've just bought, which is the same size as that one, albeit these bits are different, I can't work out how they fit in that frame setup. I'm definitely missing something, unless these are made up specifically to run on the sliders. But then that means that that frame is no longer required. Bit of a headache. And it don't make sense. I think that's where the backrest pins at the bottom, in which case that's superfluous. So I think this is off another one with sliders, because the slots in the bottom match up with what's on the other one, in which case they would get hold of some sliders and ditch these frames. I don't know, bit of a headache. Right, so that's the base made up. I've ordered a pair of runners that will sit sandwiched between these two, I'm hoping. That should enable me then to run that back, get a couple of inches. I haven't checked the angle of it and seating position yet, because I haven't got a swab that's strong enough to take me weight. They're all falling apart. Still unsure what to do with the other half. I mean, I can make another pair of these up, albeit it's a fair bit of work, or just make up a couple of flat frames to sit the swabs in. But I'm not entirely sure what the frameworks that sit in these galvanised frames, what they actually look like. So we shall see. But yeah, all that's left now, I've got to drill the holes for these to mount, and then tickle them up, and they can be painted at the same time I do these. I might even get some cold galv, because evidently there must be somewhere that the water collects, because they're all rusted around the same spots. And then I've got to decide if I'm going to use that one. It'd probably benefit from some new pieces putting in, albeit stiffen it up a little bit. Well, that's me out of time. I've got to go and get my tree planting gear on. I've just got to bolt the bottom half of the slider to the rail. It only just fits. That bit stays fixed and the chair moves back forwards, so it's always visible. But in fairness, the time I've adjusted it, it's probably going to go back 2 inches from there. Anyway, well, that was fun. First time I've sat in it since I got it 2 years ago. So I've made up the frameworks now, temporarily bolted them in, bolted on the sliders, bolted on the seat frame, stuck the least damage to the seats in, and that's got a big split in it there. And yeah, plenty of room, he says optimistically. I'll lose a bit when I stick the back seat into position, this bit. Only the pins are knackered in that, they're knackered. But yeah, we're getting there. So now I've got to unbolt it all, and it is a bit of a faff. Just getting the fixings from here into there, and the nuts underneath them, and sliding it to and fro. So I'm going to try doing it whilst it's in the position here. So I'm fighting less things. But yeah, it's given me the space I wanted. And whilst that sticks forward further than I'd prefer, it's not actually in the way. The leg runs down there, and I've got about 2.5 inches. And same on this side. Yeah, I can dry my socks over there perhaps. Basic setup is I can't use the original fixing points because the rail on the runners is too short. So I've used low profile heads because obviously the seat sits over there, so I'll be sat on that. The back ones are picked up, but then I had to repair this side so it hasn't got that rebate on it, and the same on there. So those 4 M8s bolt into the top of the rail, and then the bottom half of the rail bolts on, or slider bolts onto the thing there. Right, this bit is a joy to behold. It's sprung, so it just literally just pulls out. It's originally supplied 80mm too narrow, so you have to bend these joints a bit and bring those back into alignment. But for 20 quid, I don't mind doing that. Certainly better than the cheapest pair of sliders I could find, which were original, were 85 quid, which is just silly. So that's slid back to its full extent. You lift that up, and if I can do it one-handed, slide it all the way forward. So you've got about 8 inches of movement on it. I think that's more than enough. I only wanted 3, but I wanted 3 from a further back position than the originals would give me. Well, my new seats have arrived, so I've dropped the, I think they call it a deluxe with headrest. Swab drops in all right, that's no problem, but you know, it shouldn't be. Come to stick the back one in, I've just unwrapped it. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? I might stick this one over that side. And they're not punched on the side for the connectors. I'm feeling through. Just put the phone down and bring you back. Feeling through in the corner, I've got one hole there, and there should be another one down there, yeah, there. And on the seat frame, I want the bottom hole, but they don't come with any fixings either, so it's another delay. And I think, from memory, there's like a rubber plug thing sits on there and acts as a stop against the corner. So I'll see if I can find them as well. I know when I took the frame out, they were all perished, crumbled away. So, and then I'll take you around the other side and I'll show you the middle one. Now, as I say, I've no experience of what these base frames, how they're set up, but it looks to me as if it sits on top of that flat section, because I can't see how else it would go, and that makes it about right for the back. Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure. That's with it pulled forward, so it's against the stops, which looks about right. So then the back would sit in here, but I think there's a strap that you pin on the bottom, and that comes round and fits on a little plug on the front. I ain't got them. I know I've got them for the outside, so I've got to go and route them out. That's the latch to hold the top on, and I think that's the strap point, anchor point. What I haven't seen is any means of stopping it flopping about at the back. I know there's a set of brackets that come out that it goes back to, but I can't see that there's any means of actually stopping it, therefore going forward. And I've just smacked my head on the back of that, or back of my head on that. That's sore. Well, I'm waiting for parts again, so I thought I'd dig out the rest of the small bits that need painting and start prepping those up. So we've got the transmission tunnel cover, which is not bad nick, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure what's gone on there. I think that the gear stick that comes up through here has obviously been chaffing against it. It should be under the rubber boot. And other than that, there's a couple of dints on it I'll take out, and then that can be stripped and painted. They're the headlight surrounds, which I've just cleaned off all the rusty staining on. don't think I'll take them back to metal. Miss that bit as well. I'll just scuff them up and etch prime and go over them. Then we got the vent flaps, and these are the rear light cover, internal covers, which I've already done. Other than that, it's basically doors. So yeah, we're nearing the end of spraying, thank goodness. The neighbours will be pleased. So before I start spraying stuff up, just seeing what wants a bit of a massage. We're a bit tight down the bottom here. And the owl that was original don't line up all that well. Not whether you can see it, it's sort of over that area. So I think what I'm going to do is cut a patch, which I'll affix. I know that there's a boss and like a rubber diaphragm that comes with this, with the overdrive setup, so I'll see if I can't mask it all. Otherwise I'm going to end up with an elongated slot and then make some kind of diaphragm for it. Everything else is about adjacent. I thought it would be, but fixing down there, it's just a bit snug, and rather than messing about trying to keep it snug, I might as well set it like everything else with 1/4 inch gap. The size of that. I'll take you around the other side. So the earlier job was to just fit that, and I can get my finger behind there. I could when I took it off. I remember it was a ridiculously big gap, and it was bunged up with that dum-dum. So we're not quite right on that. And we're sitting very high up here, but it's tight up here. So I think what I'm going to do is probably massage this end so that the whole lot will shift over a bit. I don't see a downside with that. That'll mean everything starts looking a bit more made to fit rather than near enough. You can see it's all tight around it. Yeah, well, I'm going to draw that on and then get my grinder on it. It's lunchtime now then. Well, I've took off getting on between 3/8 and 1/2 inch, so equaled it out of both ends. It still wants a bit more, but at least it's sitting down now. And I think it's basically because the position of the bulkhead, I think now is a bit further back, and I also think that the seat box is back in shape as opposed to being bent. But it's certainly looking a bit better. I'm just going to go around and mark it up, but still quite a bit of misalignment on things like the hole centres there, like one at the bottom, nowhere to be seen. So there still wants a bit of a massage, but I think these things generally pulled into shape as you clamped everything together and then clonked them up. Just got to decide what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have a look at the rubber gaiter. So I can't actually remember how all that lot fits together, because none of this was actually, none of it was fitted. It was all in a pile, from what I recall. I might be wrong though. That might have been just loose, rattling about. Yeah, so yeah, a bit of progress. So that's basically the same again that I'm going to take off. It's the thickness of a Sharpie pen, but you can see, I mean, I've got reasonable alignment on that hole, just starting to come in here, and the only way to get them more visible is if that moved in. That's pretty much hard up now. Won't go any further that way. So yeah, again, the bulkhead is, let me get it right, out there, and I don't know whether it's the same there because I've not really got a measure to go off. I can't believe it's much out because it looks pretty parallel to that outrigger, and the same on the other side. But you know, 1/8 of an inch here, 1/8 of an inch there, all adds up, doesn't it? So I'm just going to nibble off a bit more around here, and then I've got some touching up to do where I've scuffed the paint, but I think I'll end up doing that all together. Hey ho. So that's the sort of gaiter assembly I supplied with the overdrive extension handle doodah off eBay, which is fine, until we realise that some pillock drilled the hole in the wrong spot originally. I mean, that's not even a small bit out, is it? So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of alternative for it. Or I end up cutting a square patch, rivet that on, and then put that in a new hole. Seems a bit farcical, but